Right.
Okay, my name is Don Rader. I'm a trustee at the Matilda and Carl Pfeiffer Museum in Pickett, Arkansas. I'm going to visit with you a little bit about the study of minerals first, because that's what we have and that's what we specialize in. I will go over the material of different minerals, and when we get back to them at the end, I will show you some of these minerals that here are on the table and tell you what each one of them does and give you their nicknames and some information like that. A knowledge of minerals requires a lot of study. You need to know something about physics, chemistry, math, geology, geography. And so if to identify minerals, there are a number of ways to identify minerals. There are 10 or 12 different things, and to most of the layperson, not going to mean a thing to you. There are two things that you will obviously notice, and that's color and shape. Now, the big thing is, how do you identify minerals? That's not easy, and that's where I just got through talking about. The people that do this, they are really educated people who can do that, and far more than I am, or probably any of you lay people there. Think about it. How do you find minerals? You don't just go out and start digging in the hills. You need to know something about geology and geography to know where to go. It's important to know those things, and there again, there's a lot of, you just don't go out in the mountains and start digging. And then when you do find a mineral, how do you identify it? That's another thing. People who find minerals, there are two things when you find a mineral that's never been found before. One, they're usually named after the person who found it, or they are named after the place, the location where they are found. And I'll show you a few of those things when we get to talking about our minerals right here. There are something like 3,500 to 4,000 minerals that have been identified over the years. Now, most of these are small, insignificant, and not important. Now, there are 250 to 300 of these. They're the ones that we have, and they're important to us in our everyday life. We have to have them to live. And that's what I try to emphasize to people, how important minerals are to us. Now, I'm going to change and start showing you the minerals we have. First, we're going to talk about Arkansas, because that's where we are. Arkansas is known worldwide. There are thousands of people who come and visit Pickett, Arkansas on a daily basis. Now, where are the minerals in Arkansas? Does anybody know? Well, the area is around Hot Springs to Mount Ida. There's a big area down there, and that's where the mineral quartz is found. That is our state mineral. Now, quartz is found on the ground. It's what we call open pit mining. They don't go down deep in the ground to get the quartz out of the ground. And you can go to that area, and there are areas there people own property, and you can go there and you can pay a small fee and you can dig and collect quartz to your heart's content. Now I'm going to show you, as I said, here is a real good quartz crystal, and you can see the color, it's clear, and you can see the side, always has 6 sides, a good piece of quartz like that. And that's an Arkansas quartz. Here is another one, same idea, but that's a smoky quartz. They're rare and hard to find. These things are worth a lot of money if you can find one. And another mineral in Arkansas that I always like to show kids, that's not very pretty, doesn't show it like much, but it's one of the most important minerals in the world does. It's a mineral called bauxite. Now there's a town called Bauxite just south of Little Rock. What do you do with bauxite? This is where aluminum comes from. And so as you well know, you can see how important that is to us. Now, most of this has been mined out of the ground. There isn't much left. And all the mineral companies, the aluminum companies, have left Arkansas. One of my favorites is this mineral right here. This is a mineral called smithsonite. Now, this came from an area near Rush, Arkansas. That's on the Buffalo River near Yellowville, Arkansas. And I've been there to this place, these mines. This was found in the mine called the Monte Cristo. And this is where you get zinc. You take this and turn it into zinc. And when I see one of these, I know pretty well where it came from. And when I said it's named Smithsonite, it's named after James Smithson. He's the man that provided the money to develop the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C. Now, a lot of these minerals have nicknames. The prospectors that found this, they call that turkey fat. Now here's another piece of Smithsonite. See how different this is? Beautiful blue. Look, isn't that the prettiest thing in the world? This is where you learn how to, when I look at a mineral, I can look at this and pretty well tell you where it came from. It came from the Kelly mine in New Mexico. And when I see this color, even though it's Smithsonite, just like the one I just showed you, it is a rare, and worth quite a bit of money because it's only found there. This is the only place in the world. Here's another piece of quartz, one of our biggies. Look at that. Same look, the same 6 sides, the pointy top, and you can see where it was dug out of the ground. This is worth quite a bit of money, and it's of course big and heavy, and we're happy to have this. This is one we just bought a year or so ago. It's turquoise, right? Turquoise. Can you imagine? I didn't think we had turquoise like this in Arkansas. This was found in a mine between Mount Ida and the Oklahoma border. And I looked it up. Now this has been shaped and shined up real good. This is not natural the way it comes out of the ground. But look how pretty that is. That's a beautiful piece of Arkansas mineral there. Now, to change horses, we go to Missouri. There's one of that's their state mineral. It is a mineral called galena. Now that doesn't mean anything to you, but what about lead? That's a piece of lead. It's heavy, and now we have people say, was that cut and shaped like that? No, that's exactly the way it comes out of the ground. And this was mined out of the ground about 50 or 60 miles north of us. And something like here in Missouri, something like 75% of the lead the United States uses comes from right up there in that one place. And I did not get out this. There's one mineral that is found in Arkansas and nowhere else. How about diamonds? How many of you been to Murfreesboro? Here, we have 10, and I have these 10. I got 2 of them out. I don't know whether you can see these real well. This is a canary yellow. It's flawless, it's perfect, and it's worth a lot of money. This one is white and clear, as you can see. It has a slight flaw, but it's still worth a lot of money. And we have 10 of these. And if you were ever here, you could see all 10 of them, so we're proud of having those here. How many of you been to Murfreesboro? I've been there one time, plan on going back. You can go there and dig, you pay a little fee, and if you find one you think is a diamond, you can take it in there, and if it is, you get to keep it. So, and they find a lot of them there every year. This is our most valuable mineral. This is tourmaline. This is a mineral called tourmaline. Now it's used for jewelry. It was found in a pit near San Diego, California, and there were 74 of these dug out of this one spot, and it's the only ones in the world ever. And they are called blue cap. You can see the top of them. There's lots of turquoise, but there's none of them that have this blue top on there. And Mrs. Pfeiffer bought this a long time ago, but this thing is worth quite a bit of money if we wanted to sell it. This is a mineral called calcite. Now there's lots of calcite, but when I see this, I know that it came from mine over just past Nashville, Tennessee, and to you all, we call it a football. It's called a calcite football. And anytime I see it, the color and the shape is only found in that one place. Here's a piece of gold. Can you see the gold inside that? This is the white is quartz, and if you can take an acid that will burn that quartz away if you wanted to, and it will not hurt the gold. But we like to keep it like that so you can see what that looks like. There's another mineral that goes along with this gold, and there it is. See how bright and shiny that is? This is a mineral called pyrite, and it's called fool's gold. Prospectors would find this and thought they were finding gold. They would bring it in and they said, well, so you're a fool. And so it eventually developed the nickname. Now this came out of Missouri. You can see the same galena sitting there on top, just like the one I showed you. This is a mineral, two minerals actually, that we like. The blue is called azurite. The green is called malachite. Now here's where you get into chemistry. These two, their chemical makeup is so similar to each other. That's why they're right next to each other. If this was left alone, eventually the green would take this all over. This entire mineral would be green. And a lot of people think it looks so much like coming out of the ocean. But it's a nice specimen of ours. This is a mineral called fluoride. Now what do we do with fluoride? How about toothpaste? This is where the fluoride that goes in your toothpaste comes from. And this came from an area on the southern part of Illinois, there's an area up there called the Fluoride District. I've been through there, and we have quite a nice collection of them, but you can see that how important this is in our everyday life. This is one of my favorites. We bought this not very long ago. It's a mineral called rhodochrosite. Can you see how pretty that is? Now most rhodochrosite, if you find it, it's going to look like this. See how that pretty, it's pink, but when you see one with that dark red like that, I know immediately that it came from the Sweet Home mine in Colorado. That's one of the things a real mineral dealer can walk around generally and look at minerals like this and tell you exactly where it came from. I can do a little of it, not much. Here's another mineral, sulfur. That's a piece of sulfur, came from Sicily. Sicily's famous for its sulfur. And we have some of it over there. We keep it covered up because the fumes that come off of the sulfur will damage the other minerals if we aren't careful. Here's a nice mineral. That's ruby. That's a beautiful ruby from the country of Burma. The country is now called Myanmar. But Mrs. Pfeiffer collected that, and it would be a 40?
70 carat.
It would be a 70 carat ruby if we wanted to have it cut. So here's one of my favorites. This green is a mineral called amazonite. And again, we're back to the smoky quartz, just like I showed you from Arkansas. And when you see this amazonite, you know it came from Colorado. And this is quite valuable, and this green it's pretty. That's the thing about it. It's real pretty. Okay. This mineral is platinum. Now this is more valuable than gold, but you can't find much of it there. You can see the shiny silver. If we could clean this stuff off, it would look like this all over. Now, most people think of it for jewelry. This is necessary in the manufacture of gasoline. You have to have this as a catalyst to break oil down into everything that it's used. And guess where you get this? You have to buy it from Canada, Russia, or South Africa. We don't have any of it here in the United States to speak of, or not near enough to do any good. But this is a valuable mineral and because of its use. So that's about, this is one that talking about names. Here's one. There's a pretty piece. This is called tanzanite. And it is named after the country. It's a country called Tanzania. Okay, so that's where geography comes in. Where is Tanzania? Well, it's in Africa. That's the thing we have to learn in geography, in study of minerals, is geography. Like, where is Namibia? Namibia's in Africa, and some of the great minerals come from that area. But here's the last one, big one. This is copper. There is a great, big, large piece of copper. It's worth a lot of money. We paid quite a bit of money for this, and it came from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Now, most of the mines up there are all closed and they're gone from there, but it was well known in years and years ago for the manufacture of copper, and copper is one of the most valuable, useful minerals we have. So, that's about it.